What's up, Grace Report? Happy Thursday. How's everyone doing? We'll wait a few minutes for people to trickle in. What is up, Matthew, Dusty Lane, Carol, Denny Rose, Julissa, Curious Potato? What is up? How's it going? Jennifer Murray, what is up? Did anyone do anything interesting while we wait for people to trickle in? Jen, how's it going? I have not. If you guys have who has Netflix, I have not seen Fear Street Prom Queen or whatever the heck it is. I haven't seen it yet and hadn't had a chance. I also got an advanced copy of Woman in the Yard, so stay tuned for my review on that. What is up, Emily? How's it going? And Julissa, thank you for being a member of the Wolfpack for 25 months. I can't believe it's been that long. Hearts for Julissa. So we still have those that I have on my list. Fear Street Prom Queen is out now on Netflix, as well as Heart Eyes. If you guys are looking for something spooky to watch, I just haven't had time. I've been busy with work. Joanne, how's it going? I'm kind of watching on Max. They have a documentary about Pee Wee Herman, where they interview Paul Rubens. It's actually kind of pretty good. If you guys have Max, check that out. But other than that, I haven't had the time to really do anything because work, like I said, work has been keeping me busy. Matthew watched Phantasm and Bubba Hotep. I do have a channel on my TV, because I have a Samsung TV and it has its own kind of like, I guess, channel thing to it, like a cable kind of section to it, and it's got a few horror and it plays a lot of Phantasm. So I do pop up to it. It plays Wishmaster because I popped up to it where it's done Wishmaster, Phantasm, Slumber Party Massacre. It's done one of those like oddball movies. Curious Potato saw the Pee Wee Herman documentary. I'm still in the middle of it. I haven't finished it. I think I'm on the second episode. Matthew goes, Vizio also has its own channel too. I think they all the TVs do. I know LG has it too. Denny has not watched any horror in a while. What? No, that's okay. Jen goes, every time I hear the tequila song, I think of Pee Wee Herman dancing on the bar. Julissa saw Heart Eyes and enjoyed it. I actually did enjoy it. I kind of call it like a horror chick flick because there's kind of like a love story in it. It is campy. If there's such a thing as a horror chick flick. But I did enjoy it. It was something I love slashers to begin with, so that's kind of like my I love them even if they're cheesy. Too, because that's my thing. That's what my favorite thing. And Heart Eyes, I did enjoy it. Matthew goes, Android and Google TV has the same Google TV Live app. Diddy goes, yeah, I know my hubby took control of the remote. Curious Potato goes, I used to use Phantasm as an avatar. Denny Rose is still watching the series Evil. Denny likes Sharknado. I have not seen a Sharknado. I know it's cheesy, but I have not brought myself to watch it yet, just quite yet. One of these days I will. I think Sharknado is like the cheesiest of the cheesed. But one of these days I will check it out and watch it. I think how many Sharknadoes are there? Like 4? Yeah, dude, they're stupid funny, but I just haven't brought myself to watch it yet because they're ridiculously cheese. But believe it or not, Crystal Lake, the series, which I feel like has been talked about forever, because of the issue with Scott Cunningham, I believe it is. Don't quote me. I might be mistaken, but don't quote me. Um, I believe it has to do with the rights of Jason and the rights of Friday the 13th. And unfortunately, we lost the game Friday the 13th because of this. But it looks like Crystal Lake is going through because now um set construction is underway for the Friday the 13th TV series. And I know I've mentioned that they're already been casting for the characters in Crystal Lake. Pre-production is officially underway on the Friday the 13th TV series titled Crystal Lake from Peacock and A24, and showrunner Brad Caleb Kane takes us behind the scenes today. A photo posted on Instagram tonight gives us a sneak peek at the in-progress construction of Mrs. Voorhees' living quarters, with Caleb Kane teasing that the team is building a mystery. Check out the photo below and follow Brad Caleb Kane if you want any updates, obviously, for Crystal Lake. We will be closely watching every stage of pre-production, production, and post-production on Crystal Lake, as this is a major event here in the horror world. It is because but it is, and at the same time, I think a lot of us probably have lost interest because it's been in talks for so dang long. If you guys don't know Scott Cunningham, he was the director, I believe, of the first Friday 13th. And I think what the little tiff that they're having is the rights to Jason and rights to Friday the 13th. But apparently I guess Crystal Lake is a go. Um Linda Cardellini will be playing Mrs. Voorhees in Crystal Lake. Described as a mother who had given up a singing career to raise a special needs child and takes a dark turn when she loses her son. Her son, of course, is none other than Jason Voorhees. Crystal Lake has been described as an expanded prequel to the original Friday the 13th franchise, featuring both Jason Voorhees and his mother, Pamela Voorhees. My favorite Friday the 13th is part 2. It's what I call the potato sack Jason. That is my favorite Jason out of all the Jasons. I also like the Scream, I guess the It girl, I don't know what you call them now, Scream Queen in the second one. The first one, the second one, the first one does go in it for a little bit too as well, but I love Friday the 13th part 2. As mentioned, the streaming series will begin the Friday the 13th franchise back to life after 16 years of Jason Voorhees lying dormant at the bottom of the lake due to a messy legal issue over rights. So here, I guess, is a little sneak peek. If you guys would like to follow more about it, follow Brad Caleb Kane on Instagram. And you would get little updates about Crystal Lake. But I mean, I will watch this. I don't know if I'm excited about it, but I will watch it. I am a big, huge Friday 13th fan, and a lot of you know. He's probably my favorite slasher. Um, I have not seen Denny Rose Goes Meg 2 is a bit ridiculous. I haven't seen Meg 2. I saw the first one. I didn't see the second one. I did see that, Matthew. That Peter Kwong, who played Rain in Big Trouble in Little China, had passed. We also lost Ed Gale, who played Chucky. He also played Howard the Duck. And he passed away recently too as well. He was 61. I had no idea somebody actually played Chucky. So this is kind of news for me. But it's still sad when you lose someone that's has been in an iconic. Howard the Duck is iconic too, but I guess his niece broke the sad news on Facebook. It is with heavy heart and surprisingly light coffin. See what I mean there? See what I did there? That we announced the sudden passing of her uncle, Ed Gale. Ed Gale has taken his final bow, is now headlining in the afterlife. Ed hitched a ride to California when he was 20 years old with $41 and a dream, and he never looked back. He lit up the silver screens in cult classic films like Howard the Duck and Chopper Chicks in Zombie Town. I have never seen that one. That one definitely looks interesting. Earning himself some serious street cred on every con he attended, which he never stopped bragging about ever. He lit up the silver screens in cult classic films. Oh, wait a minute. I read that already because they put it in twice. They did. Oh my God. I horror. Proofread your articles. Over the course of his careers, he appeared in over 130 movies, TV shows, and commercials. With the wide range body of work, he leaves behind legacies full of questionable lighting and amazing one-liners. Ed's favorite role was that of the fun uncle. His love language is sharing his love for the entertainment industry and the magic of Hollywood with his nieces. Ed loved 7-Eleven hot dogs with disgusting amount of ketchup. Not that I wanted to know that. He enjoyed reminiscing about his glory days DJing at the Plainville roller rink. He hated Bill Maher for no good reason. He delighted in the slow buildup of telling a good story and cheated at cribbage. He had one hell of a laugh and he will be missed. Rest in love, you cranky bastard. Final arrangements are pending. Our condolences to his and his family and friends for their loss. Like I said, I had no idea. I didn't even put the article up. Sorry, guys. I had no idea that there was actually someone that played Chucky. Matthew goes, I saw the Chopper Chicks one on TV back then in the 80s. Danny goes, might be able to find it on Tubi. Probably. I'll probably find it on Tubi. And I'm like, that movie. I agree, Denny. That's still young. That is young. I feel like anyone that lives into her 80s is probably like, but when it's before that, even 80s, I feel like you're still considered. I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe at that point you're probably a little tired. Depends. I know my grandmother, she passed at 95. She was born in 1905 and she passed in 2001 at the age of 95. And I know I mean all her friends had passed and she was still here. And I feel like, I mean, at a certain point, I feel like it comes to the point of, do you want to live forever? And I don't think I would want to live forever because you would watch everyone you ever loved pass, like Highlander. So I think, I mean, I feel like, I mean, some people are 90 and they feel like they're 20. So it just depends. No, Brad Dorff didn't die at Curious Potato. It was Ed Gale, the person that played the Chucky running around Chucky, not the voice of Chucky. Emily goes, Howard always reminds me of an old boyfriend. He was short, blonde, and blue eyes. Danny goes, my grandmother was so lucky at cribbage that even if people cheated, she still won. That's pretty cool. Kyle, what is up? Matthew goes, he wore the costume. There you go. Because I didn't know. I always thought Chucky was animatronic. So I never thought that someone actually was in a costume. Danny goes, my grandmother died on her birthday. She turned 96. That's my grandmother too. She was the last left in her group of friends. So I feel like, I mean, I feel like after a certain, I mean, not to be morbid or anything, but I feel like after a certain amount of time, you get tired. You know what I mean? And you're ready. But like I said, there's some people in their 90s that feel like they're they feel like they're in their 20s. I mean, there's people in their 90s that are better shape than I am, believe it or not. So I guess it just depends on the person. But I do agree that 61 is still considered young. Sinners? which I have been looking forward to watching. I saw I've not seen it yet, but I saw the trailer and I've always like the trailer was amazing for it. It gets a home release date next week. The horror movie everyone talked about the last month, Sinners, and now it's coming to home cinema with the digital release next week. They haven't given a date, but horror site Joe Blow um estimates it at June 3rd. And what some it's this damn laptop that I'm borrowing because my other one took a crap and it's starting to act up because it did this last time. But at least I caught it. I don't know where I stopped, but the last time I think I was going through a whole article when it stopped. So it's getting and it also too when I try to open up things like it won't open up like pages. So it's like it's annoying me right now. But anyways, I was talking about Sinners before the studio ghosts interrupted me. I'll like that. I'm gonna keep it with the studio ghosts. They with with Jennifer Marie. Jennifer Marie goes, she's back. The aliens have released her. Yes, I did, Denny. I got rudely interrupted. Um, I know what I was talking about. I was talking because it says it was saying that watching Sinners at home, you might not get the same effect, but I mean, a lot of people now have 80-inch TVs. I think the one I have is like a 75-inch, and it seems huge to me. So I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. I mean, it's not the same size, obviously, as a movie theater one, though some people have like huge projector style ones. But I still think we'll still see we'll get the same effect regardless. You turn off all the lights, you'll still get drawn, into the TV. But the story is about two brothers who wants to open a juke joint but are confronted by a vampire horde. This isn't just about the aspect of the story, it's also about community stubbornly following a dream and how music through the ages is a salient tie that binds us all spiritually. With some gruesome effects, plot twist, and great performances from the cast, Sinners is also a standout in its direction, soundtrack, and cinematography. We cannot wait to get this one on digital. It's not confirmed, I guess, yet, but they're looking at June 3rd. Obviously, it's going to go to VOD first. And I probably will wait for it to come on a streaming service near me. But I am looking forward to that one. I do love a good vampire flick. And that one looks kind of different because it is a period film. So I am looking forward to it. Also, the director of that film plans on rebooting The X-Files. I know I spoke about it on a previous episode, but I don't know, or stream. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, he plans on making it more horror driven. I'm all down for that, but I don't know, like, if you're going to reboot the X-Files, you have to have completely different characters. You can't have Mulder and Scully played by different actors because forever Mulder and Scully will forever be David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson for me. I don't care what anybody says. You cannot replace them. They are iconic characters. You cannot replace them. I have a feeling that David Duchovny will forever be known as Fox Mulder, as well as Gillian Anderson's going to be forever known as Dana Scully, no matter what role she plays. But I mean, I would give it a chance, but I'm not. I'm not too excited about it. I go, it's a classic. It's a cult classic for a reason. It's my high school years. I don't want anybody messing that up. It just seems like, I mean, trying to make it more horrific, that'd be kind of cool, something different. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm like 50-50 when it comes to that. Matthew goes, watch it later. Looks like from dusk till dawn. Curious Potato, they do. They still look good, Jillian and David Duchovny. They do. I know David Duchovny. He just got married. I think a couple weeks ago, I saw an article that he just got married to his longtime girlfriend of 6 years. He still looks great. I think David Duchovny's in his 60s. Gillian Anderson looks amazing too as well. I know Gillian Anderson's off doing her own thing. She's pretty active in different series that she's been doing. I think she's been in a few movies. Emily Parkinson has the X-Files. Am I back or is my computer? I'm back. Okay. I was looking because I have the background of YouTube on here. Of course, you keep back. I was like, the damn ghosts are jealous. I cannot win. I cannot win. Today is one of those days. And then, of course, when I come back, I'm like, I have like this weird look on my face. All right, Studio Ghost, we are going to talk about, well, I guess this isn't a ghost story, but I mean, I guess it's not. So, Studio Ghost, you're going to have to wait. But we do know you're here. Please do not take my stream down again. Matthew goes, did you bring home a cat or dog? Go, I don't know. It might have been either one. It could be both. But a severed human leg found near Taylor Swift's house. I was like, what? Emily Parkinson, thank you for that super sticker of the hippo having a ball on their gaming chair. Hearts for Emily Parkinson. Thank you, Emily Parkinson. I appreciate that. Diddy goes, do you need us to sage your house to get rid of the ghost? I don't know. Today they're on one. Human remains, specifically a human leg bone, was found near pop singer Taylor Swift's Rhode Island home on May 14th. It was discovered on Everett Avenue in Westerly Watch Hills community, where the pop star owns a huge coastal mansion. It's probably one of 20 homes that she owns. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know how many homes she owns. Investigators say the limb belonged to Kevin Passant, a well-liked local man missing since March. The coroner's report states there were no sign of foul play. There are no details on how the leg got there. So how, like, just imagine going on your morning stroll and there's a leg just chilling there. I don't know. I probably would think it was fake and walk away. I don't even think I would investigate. I think I would just walk away. I'd be like, that's a dummy. But someone actually, I guess, decided to poke at it. I don't know how it was found because it didn't say, but I'm assuming someone walked by and was like, what? Online conjecture quickly jumped in on the report since Swift is such a high-profile celebrity. They began rumors that the gruesome find was the result of a local serial killer. Additionally, they pointed out that since March 13th, there have been 13 sets of human remains found in the area. However, the police reject that these cases are tied together. Third Since March 13th, there's been 13 sets of human remains. That's kind of fishy. We understand the public's concern, but there's nothing to suggest that these incidents are related. A spokesperson for the Westerly Police Department said the facts point to individual circumstances, and in Mr. Poissant's case, no criminal activity is suspected. Rhode Island police bolster that the cases are not connected, saying the public shouldn't confuse patterns with dinks. Swift is also not affiliated with the incident. She wasn't on the estate when the discovery was made by a civilian. She was abroad continuing her Eras tour. Um, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't say how it was found, but I'm assuming someone was on their morning stroll, or I guess, I don't know. I mean, I would have probably walked by and go, oh, it's a dummy. I would have thought it was a mannequin leg, but depending, well, I mean, I guess depending, maybe there was a smell, flies, I don't know, but just imagine you're on your morning walk and you discover that, and it's like, the Annabelle, Matthew's saying the Annabelle doll is missing? What? Oh, there is articles like 4 days ago. Hold on, I did find an article. Hold on, but this is 4 days ago. Um, Hold on. How did I miss this? This is from Newsweek, I think it is. Yeah, Newsweek. Evil Annabelle doll. No, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna subscribe. Oh my god, really? No pop-ups. Oh my god, this site is full of pop-ups. Evil, as before I was rudely interrupted by pop-ups. Evil Annabelle doll update after missing reports spread. And this was written 4 days ago. The team behind the New England Society for Psychic Research has issued an update following reports of a missing haunted doll, which sent social media users into a frenzy. They are keen to point out that the public was never in any danger from the Annabelle doll, one of the most infamous haunted objects in pulp culture. Speaking to Newsweek, the society director Tona Spera, which is, I think, is the son-in-law, son-in-law. I think he married their daughter, the Warrens, and paranormal investigator Ryan Buell confirmed the doll's location shortly after Buell took to social media to quash speculation. Annabelle, for anybody that doesn't know who Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll made famous by Ed and Lorraine Warren, a husband and wife team of demonologists and paranormal investigators. The Warrens have said the doll is a demonic entity and it is kept in a glass house at the Warrens Occult Museum in Connecticut. The museum has been closed to the public since 2018 due to zoning violations. Basically, Annabelle is not what is seen in the movies. Annabelle is just a Raggedy Ann. I think it's a 1960 Raggedy Ann. I do have one behind me. I don't know if you could see it. Not as big as Annabelle, but probably a tad smaller, but it was made around the same time Annabelle is allegedly supposed to be made from. A version of the doll is featured in 2013 horror movie The Conjuring, which led to 3 spin-off movies: Annabelle 2014, Annabelle Creation 2017, and Annabelle Comes Home 2019, further popularizing and cementing it into paranormal pop culture. What to know? A slew of videos hit social media recently, some of which have racked up millions of views, claiming that the doll was missing. But this was untrue. The doll was never missing, Tony Spera, the director of New England Society of Psychic Research, told Newsweek via email. We had taken the doll on a brief tour to several locations so paranormal enthusiasts could witness the real Annabelle. The tour had spooked horror fans, as Lorraine Warren previously stated that the doll should never be moved. So I guess it sparked on a TikTok. The Annabelle doll is missing. Lorraine tried to warn you. She said the doll should never be moved because it's extremely dangerous. And Alex, a TikTok user, in a video said Lorraine Warren told you all not to move the Annabelle doll. She said don't move her, leave the doll alone. The public was never in any danger and the doll was never missing. Buell also told New Week that the claim that Ed and Lorraine never moved Annabelle is false. Every so often, they would showcase Annabelle at a lecture or speaking event so people curious about the item could view the item. I know Tony Spera also took the doll to the Haunted Museum because it was in an episode of the Haunted Museum. And Zach touched the doll. It's not clear exactly what prompted the storm of speculation about the doll. Some creators have linked the Annabelle doll being on tour to other recent major events, including the Nottoway plantation fire and the escape of 10 inmates from a jail in New Orleans. Rumors about the doll have been extreme, and people have been seriously spooked. Addressing the attention the doll has courted, Buell told Newsweek, since we've taken to TikTok to document our journeys, traveling with the items, we've seen a huge increase in attention, obviously. And I mean, this is the age of social media. So when you post a video, it goes everywhere. It could be the bad attention. I feel like the bad attention type of videos, like the bad videos, tend to get the most views and spread like wildfire type thing, or even something spooky like Annabelle. Parts of me thinks this is the internet having fun with the lore of the item, but we also don't want false information spreading and people thinking that arguably the most haunted artifact in the world has gone missing. In the video shared on Facebook by Buell, Dan Rivera of the New England Society of Psychic Research explained where the doll is. Annabelle is in the Warrens Occult Museum. Rivera says in the video. He then films inside of the museum, ultimately capturing the doll in its box. A text overlay on the video that reads, Annabelle is back home resting for now. So basically, I guess the doll was never missing. I don't know. And I guess there have been things happening, like plantation fire and 10 inmates escaping, so they want to blame the doll for it. But I don't. Honestly, I do have one too as well. She's sitting over here by my skeletons. I like this version of Annabelle better. The movie one looked creepy, but I like this one because it looks like a seamlessly, innocent doll. And those to me are the freakiest. I don't know. The more I've read about the Warrens, the less credible they are to me. So it's and I know in the paranormal community they're like worshipped in a way. I mean, I used to be that way too until I started reading about them and finding discrepancies. I mean, not to say, and then also too, like some of the places that they have investigated. And I know Matthew has mentioned about the Amityville house. The people, and I've heard it too, the people living there now haven't had any issues, like no paranormal, issues. In fact, they don't want anybody around their property. But you kind of get that for owning a house that's been made famous in a movie. So you're going to get that attention. You kind of have to accept it. The Conjuring house, there's too many, not to say that I've never been there, so I can't say it's not haunted or not, but there's too many contradicting things that which it makes sense. I can't really say it's not haunted because I was never there, kind of thing, which is true. I've never been there. I don't think I'll ever be there as long as that, the current owner owns it. I do not want to support the business. Plus, it's closed because she lost her business license. Danny goes, yeah, apparently lots have been debunked about the Warrens. I used to be like, oh my God, those are the Warrens. But more you read into them, the more you find out about them, the more you become skeptical about them, which I have. Not to say that I don't believe in psychics. I do believe in psychics. But there are a lot of people out there that are trying to get, a buck. And it's sad because there's people that are actually looking for answers about their loved ones, and if you're not genuine, it's super sad. But apparently Annabelle is safe and sound. I don't know if I believe Annabelle is haunted. I do believe that things can be haunted objects. I believe in the paranormal, but I also do have a skeptical side when it comes to these things, because especially with social media, it's very hard to um debunk some of these videos, because there's too many people trying to be, TikTok famous, as I call it, or and it sucks, because for that person that's actually posting something that they've actually seen that's real, and we're over here saying that's not real, you did this and this, it kind of sucks, you know what I mean? But unfortunately, it's the sign of the time. Matthew goes, Jason had his video Monday night, lots of bat shenanigans going on during the investigation. Denny goes, it's because they kicked out Bathsheba. Denny Rose, would you want to visit if you had the opportunity? I would go visit if I had the opportunity, as long as that woman did not own the property anymore. I do not want to support the property. I don't want to support the bit. Well, obviously, like I said, she lost her business license. I don't want to support the business if she owns it. Someone else owned it, then maybe I would give it a chance, but just not with her, because yeah, she is loca and la cabeza. Emily goes, the parents said they made things worse at the Conjuring house, even with them, because it's one of the sisters that tends to be vocal about it. I feel like even with her, like her story, there's contradictions to her story. Curious Potatoes, skeptical about psychics. And Jennifer Murray goes, whether she's haunted or not, I'm not taking any chances. I don't think I will either. There's Robert the doll as well. That people have said that they've taken a picture without permission and things have happened to them. I'm with you on that one, Jennifer Marie. Even though I'm skeptical about it, I'm still gonna take precautions, because you never know. I know I don't want bad luck. There's Peggy the doll that's at the Haunted Museum. Um, uh, People have said things. I think Post Malone had an interaction with her, and then he got in a car accident like right after. I don't know if it was the doll or the Dybbuk box. I can't remember which one, but he went to the Haunted Museum and had an interaction with something there, and he got in a car accident shortly after. So I mean, I don't know if I believe. I'm going to be skeptical, but at the same time, I'm with you, Jennifer Marie. Like, I don't want any bad luck put upon me, because I didn't ask or say goodbye to a haunted doll. You know what I mean? If it's simple as saying, hello, may I take your picture? Do I have permission to take your picture? Goodbye. Have a nice day. I hope you enjoy your time here. I will do it. Yes, she did, Emily Parkinson. She did write a book about it too. Jennifer Brigo's dolls in general are creepy as F. I used to work at Toys R Us back in the day, and there was a doll that would do baby babble and then say, come to the light. What? Really? That's creepy. And Dusty goes, if it's haunted, I don't want it. I'll take a haunted doll. It just depends on what the type of haunting it is. You know what I mean? If it's something like Annabelle type haunting, no, I don't want it. But if it's a comical spirit that you can live with, I don't mind. I've said this all the time. Like, if my house was haunted, I don't mind living with spirits, because if it's not affecting me, my health, then what harm is it? You know what I mean? If it starts affecting me and my health and my sanity, then yeah, then that's where I would draw the line between it. But Other than that, if it doesn't affect me, if we live in harmony, they're welcome here. I honestly don't care, to be honest with you. Jeffrey Marie, it was no surprise that no one ever bought those dolls. I would buy one now because they sound creepy but cool at the same time. Julianne goes like I said, if you want to know the truth about the Warrens, watch Truth or Demons with Stevie. She has receipts. I will probably definitely check that out. I know I've gone over. I've talked about them here on the show in past shows about them, and yeah, they're kind of losing, or they've lost their credibility with me. I'm very skeptical about them. Um, Dusty goes, I have both my Mexican god eyes above both my door. I have a dream catcher above my bed. I also have a dream catcher. Do you remember that movie Dreamcatcher where they had a dream catcher? I think it was Dreamcatcher. They had the like a wind chime like by the door. I started doing that, so I have a wind chime on my sliding glass door. So if anything happens to come through that door, that's not me. I will know. I also lock my door, my bedroom door when I sleep. Not that that's going to keep anything out, but it's just something that I have to do. I have to close the closet door. For the life of me, I can't have the closet door open. Because I always feel like if I go to bed and my closet door is open, like something's watching me. So I have to close it. And I happen to have one of those houses where the attic is in my closet. So the entrance to the attic is in my closet. So I'm like, no, I'm closing it. Denny has 3 dream catchers in one. I love dream catchers. Some of them are beautiful. Nothing wrong with dream catchers. Curious Potato, I have to turn my mirrors to the wall. I have mirrors in my bathroom, so luckily it's just in my bathroom and not, because if I had mirrors in my bedroom part, I would probably be doing the same thing. Because I'm not I don't mess with mirrors too. Emily Parkinson, I want to shout you out for your PayPal that you sent me earlier. Hearts for thank you, Emily Parkinson. I really appreciate that. Hearts for Emily Parkinson. Curious Potato added, or I can't sleep. That's me with my closet door. It has to be. I mean, it kind of stays open a little bit. It stays open a little bit, but if it's like wide open, I can't sleep. I don't know. It's just something weird. So speaking of the afterlife, I do believe that there is an afterlife. I know Buddhists, they believe that what they do in this life can affect them because they do believe in reincarnations. Um which is not really an afterlife type thing, but they do believe what they do in this life will affect them in the next. Um I know Wiccas don't believe in heaven or hell, or Wiccans. They believe in a place called Summerland. So there is no God or devil in Wicca. That's more of a like a I call mainstream religion type thing, but I believe that there's demons. I do believe that there can be evil and good on earth with the living. Um, but I do believe that there has to be life beyond this one, because obviously, I do believe that a spirit um, cannot be at peace. So I do feel like there is some I don't know what type of afterlife it would be, but I do believe like there has to be something beyond just death. Julianne goes, I was told dream catchers have to be blessed by a medicine woman or a man to work. I've had one and I've never had really any bad dreams. I don't know if it's just a quadiki dink, but I've had it. I had it above my bed for years and I've never really, I mean, I've had like little instances, but not major. Matthew goes, if you don't like mirrors, don't watch John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness. Mirrors don't really bother me that much. It's just, I think if I was sleeping and there was a mirror staring right back at me, then I'd be like, no. Jennifer Marie goes, after very recent life events, I honestly don't know if I believe or have faith in anything anymore. I'm more of a spiritualist, so I've kind of accepted, I hate to say it and it kind of sucks, but I kind of accept that like at one point we're all going to die type of thing. And it's sad. I sometimes wish animals would live as long as we do. But eventually, eventually our life's purpose is going to come to an end, and that's where we'll and I've kind of accepted the fact that that's happened, and after losing both my parents, my mom first to cancer, that is when I started thinking about the positives of things instead of the negativity. Like, at least my mom isn't suffering anymore. My mom is at peace. I would never have to see her with that many, wires coming out of her, or cables. And same thing with my dad. He passed from complications to Parkinson's. Like, I won't have to see that. My dad's at peace. I watched a man that was, a jack of all trades to a man that didn't even know how to use a remote control. So, I kind of come to the fact that, I try to see the positive things, like, at least they're at peace, at least they're in no more pain. It does suck. Like, I wish they were here. I wish they were both still here, but I try to think, positive about things. But I know how you guys feel, because it does. Like, it does suck when something happens. I don't know. I'm not going to ask Jennifer Marie what happened to you, but it does suck when things when things happen. It does suck. I'm not gonna lie. And it's kind of hard to have faith in anything when those things. So I kind of feel you. I kind of feel you. Julianne goes, I'm a skeptical believer, but I believe there's something there. Denny goes, if I could clone my Yorkie Sam, I would, to keep her longer, just like my Zoe Mazzy now. Dusty goes, I got my dream catcher in Arizona where they have the blessed stones. Just anything, losing anything just sucks, period. Oh no, I don't want to leave the site. Oh, hell no. I clicked something. But this, I found an article that was kind of interesting. It's about, it has stories about people who died and came back to life. So it made me wonder, like, is there an afterlife? Do you guys believe that there's an afterlife? I feel like there's something. I feel like, because even though my parents aren't here, I know they're with me. Jennifer Marie goes, I think it's become very apparent to me recently that there is just no higher power, and everything I used to think were signs of faith was just me being delusional. Julianne goes, I've seen so many family members pass, plus being a nurse for decades, I've seen a lot of death in hospitals and nursing homes. It sucks though, period. Um, Nothing can prepare you for that. Even if you say you're prepared for it, nothing can prepare you for that. Um, but I do know, I try to stay positive. I try to say, like, look, at least, my parents are in a better place. They're not in pain. Um, and I know my dad was ready to go. I even told him, if you want to go, you can go. My mom was kind of unexpected, but I would rather have them at peace and not in pain anymore than to be suffering. And that's kind of, and like I said, it still sucks regardless of how long it's gone. I would do anything to have my parents here. But and I know they're with me no matter what. Juliana goes, I believe when I die there was something with me. So this is stories of life after death. It's the question we've asked: what happens after death? These people who died and came back to life say they have an idea. No matter what you believe about the afterlife or lack thereof, there's no denying that plenty of people have claimed to see visions or have out of body experiences after their hearts stopped. While skeptics may brush off these accounts from individuals who died and came back to life, researchers have found that most near death experiences, NDEs, tend to have common themes, including feelings of leaving or returning to their bodies, a sense of peace, bright lights, and encounters with spirits of people. Medical advancements have now made it possible to dif- differentiate between clinical deaths, no breath or pulse, but could still be resuscitated, and biological death, actually dead, but there's no way to prove the veracity of back from the dead stories. Of course, even cynics might get chills hearing about these otherworldly visions from people who died and came back to life. So, are you a skeptic or a believer? Reader's Digest put together this list of real survival stories and near death experience so you can decide for yourself. Ahead, you'll find the real quotes and stories from people who died and came back to life. Curious goes, well, true, Curious Potato, life is pain. Julianne goes, yes, I miss my father every day. Denny goes, I'm glad I get visits from time to time of my dead loved ones. When my grandmother comes, we know it's her. We hear her cane stomping. That's pretty cool, though. That's pretty cool. The most glorious feeling in 1994, orthopedic surgeon Tony Sikoria, hopefully I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, called his mom from a payphone during a lake house trip. They'd hung up, but he still had the phone in his hand when a blue flash came out. He hadn't realized there's been a lightning storm brewing. He felt his body fly backwards. No, wait a minute. What? He felt his body fly backward and then confusedly forward. Sikoria, I am probably saying his last name incorrectly, turned around to see his own body lying on the ground. I'm dead, he thought. No grief, no ecstasy, just a fact. After watching a woman start CPR, Korea moved on, floating up the stairs to see his kids getting their faces painted, realizing that they'd be okay. Then I was surrounded by a bluish white light, an enormous feeling of well-being and peace, he told the New Yorker. The highest and lowest point of my life raced by me. I had the perception of accelerating, being drawn up. There was speed and direction. Then, as I was saying to myself, this is the most glorious feeling I ever had, slam, I was back. All the fear was gone. After a 4-year battle with lymphatic cancer, Anita Morhani slipped into a coma in 2006. Doctors were sure it was the end, not realizing that in her near death state, she was still conscious. Initially, she felt like she was floating above her body with 360-degree peripheral vision of the hospital room and beyond, she told Today. She felt the presence of her late father who had a message for her. He said that I've gone as far as I can, and if I go any further, I won't be able to turn back, she said. But I felt I didn't want to turn back because it was so beautiful. It was just incredible because for the first time, all the pain had gone, all the discomfort had gone, all the fear was gone. I just felt so incredible. And as I felt as though I enveloped in this feeling of just love, unconditional love. About 30 hours after falling into coma, Morjani flickered back into consciousness. 2 days later, her organs started to regain function and the tumor started shrinking. Now she's cancer free and is a public speaker and author of 5 books, including What If This Is Heaven? Denny goes, it is said, so I've heard many times, when you die and come back, it wasn't your time and you have big purpose. That's what I've heard too. Like I've heard it too, Denny, like your life purpose hasn't been met yet. Dusty goes, my dad visited with my dad a couple weeks before he passed. She died about 10 years before him. He called my sister and told her he was with our mom and will be home soon. Jennifer Marie goes, I don't know. I think it's the brain's way of dealing with the trauma and it's more of a hallucination than anything else. It could be. It could be. It could be a signal that you're getting or it could be just you, that's what you're thinking it is. Julianne goes, when I died, I didn't see a bright light. After talking to other people who have also died, I'm not the only one who didn't see the bright light. I felt myself go, then I had my experience, then I see you. Emily Parkinson says, I almost died back in December. I was on a ventilator for a week, and I think something followed me back. There's been some weird things happening ever since, or there's been weird things that have happened since then. Tyrana, what is up? Curious Potato, I don't want my dad to revive me. Life has it's been just pain. I know my dad had a do not resuscitate order on him, so when he stopped eating basically and everything, so we couldn't really do anything about it because he had the order. And my stepmom and myself respected that. It was really bright. At age 4, Annabelle Beam was diagnosed with 2 chronic light-threatening digestive disorders. By age 8, she was ready to give up until something unexplainable happened. She was sitting on a tree branch 30 feet in the air when it cracked. She fell into a hollow at the base of the tree and was trapped for 6 hours. She said she died and went to heaven. It was really bright, and I sat on Jesus's lap, and he told me, whenever the firefighters get you out, there will be nothing wrong with you, being told today. And I asked him if I could stay. He said, no, I have plans you need to fulfill on earth that you cannot fulfill in heaven. When she woke up, her illness had healed. Her mom wrote the book Miracles from Heaven, which was later turned into a film. I experienced an overwhelming sense of peace, which I've heard this many times. Like, a lot of people have said they felt peace, no fear, calmness. Tessa Romero, a 50-year-old mother, had a remarkable back from the dead experience while dropping her kids off at school. She had a sudden She had sudden heart failure and spent 24 minutes without a heartbeat. During this time, she underwent an intense near-death experience that reshaped her understanding of life and death. In her book, 24 Minutes on the Other Side, Living Without Fear of Death, Romero describes the sensation of leaving her body and observing the scene from above. She recalls, I saw my own body lying there, yet felt more alive than ever, awake and conscious, but invisible and unheard by those around me. I experienced an overwhelming sense of peace, a sensation of all physical and emotional pain. The incident impacted her perspective and diminished her fear of death, instilling hope for a peaceful afterlife. D Nice, what is going on? How's it going? Jennifer Marie goes, I don't know if I believe the story. It sounds too much like religious propaganda. I don't believe in Um, I'm like I said, I'm more of a spiritualist, so I don't believe in nothing wrong if you do. It just never was something that I believed in or could get a connection to. I was always a spiritualist. I always felt um like with the spirits, even though I had never had an experience, um, a paranormal experience where you hear the doors openings or people running. I've never had an experience like that. But I've always been more drawn, even when I was super young. I've always been drawn to you know the spiritual side of things. So I get what you're saying, Jennifer Marie, because I don't believe in the Bible too much. I've never read but if it's something that you do, I have nothing against it. It's just something that I've never had. I call it like mainstream religion. Like I was baptized a Catholic, but I've been to both Christian and Catholic church. My grandmother was a devout Catholic. I went to church with her, and it was just something I never connected with. It was just nothing. It wasn't my thing. And if it is your thing, nothing wrong with it. We all believe in something different, and I respect that. Emily Parkinson, 24 minutes. She should be brain dead. Dusty goes, I believe our suffering on earth is some kind of lesson we need to learn from a previous life. When you complete all lessons, you move on and don't return again. I like that one, Dusty. I've always been drawn, like when I was really young, it was like Native Americans. I was always drawn. I still am to this day. Curious Potato goes, my mom was a Baptist, my dad a scientist. A serene, I'm going to read one more, guys, and then I'm going to open it up for questions. A serene, dark space. Real survival stories are always inspiring, but David Ditchfield's story is something else altogether. In 2006, he was dragged under a speeding train, but he miraculously survived. During the surgery that followed, he had a near-death experience. He was in a serene, dark space surrounded by pulsating orbs and encountered beings of light exuding unconditional love. Following his recovery, Ditchfield discovered extraordinary artistic and musical talents he had never possessed before. He began to create paintings depicting his experience and composed classical music without formal training. His debut symphony, The Divine Light, inspired by his experience, received a standing ovation. Ditchfield shared his journey in a book, Shine On, the remarkable story of how I fell under a speeding train, journeyed to the afterlife, and the astonishing proof I brought back with me. That is a super long book name. But I am going to stop it there. Um, Denny goes, we are also here to teach others lessons too. Exactly. Julianne goes, I will tell you, getting real CPR hurts when you come back. My chest was bruised and it hurt for weeks to take deep breath. Also, too, isn't it with CPR, if you don't do it right, you can break the rib cage, I heard. Like there's a certain, like you have to be in a certain part or you can actually break the rib cage, if I'm not mistaken. But I do believe that there's something beyond this life. If is it what these people are explaining? I don't think so. Um I've also heard, like, if you're near death, you'll see things. Um and probably a week before my dad had passed, or 2 weeks, he mistaked my stepmom for my mom. So that has always crossed my mind, like, because my stepmom would be like, yeah, he called me by your mom's name. Um and it always made it it always it crosses my mind that my mom was probably in the room with him, he, at the time. So I do believe that when you're near death that you do see your loved ones that have passed, or you do see spirits. I'm a firm believer of that. D Nice goes, I'm born and raised Catholic, was baptized at birth, went through all confirmation classes, but I shifted away after high school. I still pray with family, but I am open to other religions. Jennifer Ramirez goes, when my grandfather died, the firefighters used a machine to do the CPR for them. I didn't even know such a thing existed. Actually, there is. There's one there's an aphid device now that I think most stores even have it, or more businesses have it, where you actually can use to resuscitate someone with. Denny Rose goes, I went into the incubator when I was born. If it was not for many of my family members, specifically my grandmother, I would not be alive today. I needed 24-hour care. Thanks to them, I am still here. Wow. Julianne goes, yep, hard CPR can break ribs and the sternum, especially in the elderly. It is really gross when you break ribs while doing CPR. I can imagine. But I mean, I guess considering that you have the potential of saving someone's life, I think it kind of trumps that. But that now, like reading it now, that is kind of like, ooh, hearing that would probably, um, hearing that, reading that, and then hearing that as well. It's, yeah. Emily Perkins said, yes, a defibrillator. They do have, because when I used to work in retail, we had one. Um, I never had to use it, thank goodness. But and I've seen it. I've seen it at the doctor's office at Kaiser when I went the other day. Um, Tyranna, thank you for being a member of the Wolfpack for 18 months. Hearts for Tyranna. Thank you, Tyranna. I appreciate that. Great spooky stories. D Nice goes, recent events that happened with my local church, especially after going through some losses. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I get, like I said, I am open to all religions. I have no I it, if that's what you believe in, I am not going to dispute what you believe in. I am open to everybody believing in what they believe in. But I went into a Christian church and I I felt like I've been to both, and I felt like, because like I said, my grandmother was a devout Catholic. I was baptized Catholic, but I never went through the confirmations or anything like that. The what is the communions, I think is what it's called. I never went through that, but I was baptized. But I did go to church because my dad, when I was younger, I remember my dad wasn't in the Air National Guard. The base happened to be by where my grandmother had lived. So on the weekends, I would stay with my grandmother, and she would take me to church. I never connected with it. All I knew is I was going to get lunch after. I hate to say it that way, but even as I got older, it was just not something I could connect with. And then I had friends that were Christian, went to church with them. Again, it was something I did have no connection to it. Nothing wrong if you do, like I said. We all, and I'm open to everyone believing in, because I know my friends who were Christian, they would always say, if you don't believe in what they believe in, you would go to hell. That was the thing. You that was where you would go because you don't believe in what they believe in. And I was like, how, if I'm a good person and I don't believe in what you believe in, why am I going to go to hell? You know what I mean? If I'm not I didn't commit a heinous crime, and I lived my life the best as I could, why would I be going to hell? Like, I always thought that was like absurd. um oh, Curious Potato goes, I've seen so many true crime shows about the pre I have too, unfortunately. Just because they're holy, just because they're a priest or a pastor doesn't mean they're a saint. I hate to say that. D Nice goes, yep, Buddhist ceremonies are beautiful. My friend dances at the temple, experienced a wedding and a funeral. So beautiful. It's like, I'm connected to the Buddhist as well, because I know I have the Asian side to me. My mom, I felt like she had that side, but she never really talked about it. She did go to church here. So, but I've always been drawn more to that side of things. So yes, Buddhist, I love their beliefs, I love their sayings, their teachings. I'm not like, I don't practice it, but I do like, you know, and even when I'm reading about different cultures and their, traditions or like, closing the window when someone dies or covering the mirrors, like that's the kind of stuff I've always been more drawn to than, you know, the spiritual side of things or like, oh, your spirit can't rest unless you do this type of thing. I've always been more drawn to that than um like the religious side of it. Emily goes, I was raised Catholic and even went to a Catholic school until high school. I have a lot of issues with the Catholic Church. Jennifer Marie goes, I've long thought of I almost had to go, before I get to Jennifer Marie, I almost had to go to a Catholic private high school. Thank goodness I didn't. I didn't want to go to that one. In fact, oh, you know what? I took a test and I don't think I passed the test to get into that Catholic high school. Um, I don't know. I don't remember. I just know I didn't want to go to it. And then we were looking at a Christian high school because at the time in this area there was no high school. The high school that was in this area, because now there's a high school for this area, but at the time there wasn't, and it was in Pomona, which is the next city over. You guys probably don't even know what I'm talking about, but and my dad happened to be in law enforcement because my dad was a jack of all trades. And so his concern was they would put two to two together and come after me. So he didn't want me to go to that school. So we were looking for a school, liked I mean, for what it was, I didn't really want to go, but liked the Christian school better. I felt like it wasn't as strict as the Catholic school. And then 3 days before I was supposed to go into the Christian school, I got a call saying that my transfer to the high school here in this city, I was accepted. So I ended up, I don't know, whoever, I was like, thank goodness, I don't care, thank goodness. But Jennifer Murray goes, I long thought of the concept of hell as a scare tactic to gain blind compliance. Exactly. There's a lot of people that are scared through religion, and I hate to say that, and they take the Bible literally. Um, and I kind of feel, Jennifer Marie, what you're saying is kind of, I feel like it's true. Like, oh, if you do this, you're gonna go to hell. Like, I don't think so. If it, and not that I believe in the Bible or anything, but I always thought, like, if they put this person, Jesus, and he accepts all, he himself had gone through hell, why would he make you go to hell if you did this when this isn't even something that is considered terribly bad? You know what I mean? So I always questioned that. Even when I was a kid, I questioned that. um Julian goes, I was raised Baptist and still believe in it, just not organized religion. Danny goes, I was raised Catholic and left the church for so many reasons, one being an uncle that was a priest, and well, the scandals with the Catholic, he was one of them. Yes. D Nice goes, for everyone who's gone through therapy, the impact of Buddhist teachings. Denny Rose, I've always been curious about other religions. I've always been Curious Potato wants to say Catholic priest. ... Jennifer Marie goes, yes, it was. No, it wasn't. No, I think I know which one you're talking about. There's another Catholic school. My neighbor went to that one. No, it wasn't. It's you probably know it, Jennifer Marie. Bishop Amont, because you're from this area. It was Bishop Amont. It's one of the it's esteemed Catholic school around here. There's Pomona Catholic too, which is the one I think you're talking about, Jennifer Marie. And my neighbor went to that one. I didn't. Thank goodness. D nice, every time I travel, my hubby and I, we take cultural tours. I'm always open to different beliefs. True, Dusty, true. I think a lot of people go to church for the social community of it. Nothing wrong with that. There's some people that don't have a family and they find a family within their community. So there's nothing, yeah, I agree with you on with that, Dusty. Nothing wrong with that. Or they go to gossip, like D Nice says. Tyrana goes, I was raised Catholic, but I haven't gone went in years. See, my dad was raised Catholic too, and he never went to church. So it just Emily Parkinson's of the Bible is a book translated and written by men from the Roman Catholic Church. I also know I knew someone who was Muslim. I went to school with. Um, uh, was like a community class. I went to school with, so it was older. We were older. It was after high school, and he said in my country, because he lived in a Muslim dominant country, he said if they found out he was Christian, they would kill him. That's he would say that, and I was like, I thought that was crazy, and I respected him for his beliefs to be in that situation where you have beliefs in this, but then if they found out that you had beliefs in this, that your life depended on it, like that's crazy. Denny Rose, yeah, when they say God is love, good, and just and forgiven, but then you get the heavy sinner teaching of Catholic Church in contradiction. But I feel like too, it's always good to know different religions. I do. D Nice goes, that's why people move here to the US to escape all that, but some people don't change. Very true. People don't like change. A lot of people don't like change, but change in some ways are very good for you. But a lot of people just they like their routine. They like doing the same things all the time. They like what they believe in. Nothing wrong with that at all. But sometimes change is good for you. Sometimes. Curious Potato goes, I knew a Muslim guy like that. He was messing with white girls. All right, guys, I know I was supposed to say Skeleduck, but I didn't really hide him. Um, well, I kind of did, but then I'm thinking like you can't really see him, so I'm not gonna say Skeleduck is somewhere in this background. D Nice goes, am I mixing? I want to mix here, but the problem is I don't have a computer that I can mix here. I'm having issues. But I have a setup here. I just don't have the computer to do it. And I know Lewis is having issues with his mixer right now, so I don't know when I will be, but I want to try to get back onto it. I've been meaning to. So keep an eye out for that. Jennifer Murray goes from a philosophical standpoint, the teachings of Jesus Christ are good. It's the way people manipulate it that makes it dirty. Yes. Yes. It's like, what was it? Because I follow the Duggars. I'll use the Duggars as an example. They follow the teachings of Bill Gothard. I think it is his name. He's like Christian. It's a Christian, but it's like an extreme Christian. And I do follow some of them, some of the kids. And one of the daughters, I forgot, she actually lives here in California with her husband, but she would literally take everything to the T. And she would take it it was literally like I felt like women can't wear this, women can't do this. Like they would take things to a T. And she literally believed that until she got out of it and married her husband. And then that's where she was saying, wait a minute, this isn't real. So that's a perfect example of what Jennifer Marie says. There it's true. It's like there's people that manipulate it and make it their own, and people get into it. I don't know how they get into it. Maybe because they're down and out and they're looking for answers, but it's crazy. Emily, I saw that. Thank you, Emily, for gifting 5 memberships. Welcome, Julianne, Wendy Marino, Kyle, Hug, Mistress Meg to the Wolf Pack. Hearts for Emily. Thank you, Emily, once again. And for the Wolf Pack members, welcome. Curious Potatoes, we do need some principles to live by, or we're just actually apes. Or apes are better than us. Yeah, I mean, we do. I feel like we all need rules and something to keep us going. I do agree with that too. Dusty goes, see, that's what I mean about religions being cults. Exactly. I don't know how, and it's the same thing with um the Mormons, but the Latter Day. I think it's the Latter Day Saint. The no, not yeah, the Latter Day Saints, the JLS. Um, with them, and I've seen so many documentaries about them. And how they marry their children at 14 to, and ugh, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling to see these documentaries about people who've gone through it and their stories. It's like, but these people and the I think it's the JLS, the Latter Day Saints, or the LSD, Latter Day Saints, LDS. Why am I saying JL? LDS. Um, these are actually people that grew up in it. So it wasn't like they had a choice um until they got older and they were like, hell with this. I feel for it is gross. I agree. But unfortunately they don't know any better because they're so isolated. It's kind of like, I hate to say it, it's like Scientology too. They isolate people. I hate to say it. Yeah, I said I did, didn't I? D nice. I said LSD. Jeffrey goes, it's wild to me the things religious people choose to die standing on while ignoring way more serious issues that deserve that energy. Exactly. Latter Day Saints or something. It's been a long day, guys. Panda goes, I'm a Jack Mormon since my dad didn't do the second cleanses thing and wanted us kids not to leave by the rules. I mean, there are some parents that pull their kids out of it because then they realize what it is. But it's still Dusty goes, some people find religion on LA. Ah, it's one of those days. Long day. I was busy today. Long day today. But great conversation we're having. Great conversation. But I do like watching all those type of documentaries because I'm a documentary type of person. I like watching documentaries and I like true crime docs and anything to do about like David Koresh or something, or the Latter Day Saints, or however, I'm probably saying it wrong still, but they do have them on Netflix. So I think the one about the yeah, I think it's still on Netflix. So if you guys are looking for documentaries to watch, check out Netflix if you have it. That's kind of my go-to for docs. Jeffrey Bree goes, yes, me too. Would much rather watch a documentary than anything else. I'm like, I do like, I mean, I like my horror movies, don't get me wrong, but I do love my documentaries just as much. Uh, so whenever a new one pops up, I'm like, ooh, what is this? Um, and like I said, Netflix has some good ones. Um, if you guys have Netflix, I know some people don't, but because I could sit there for hours watching a documentary, and then when it ends, I'm like, all right, guys, any last minute questions before I end this stream? Jennifer Marie, I agree. Netflix takes too long to release new ones. They do. They do. Depends on what kind of documentary it is. But they do. But they have some good ones. I it's kind of my go-to. Curious Potato goes, I love an old Hammer horror film. Oh, that Denny Rose goes, it's like the Jehovah Witnesses. If your family is not part of the flock, you can't talk to them. It's like the Amish. The Amish do that too. Once you leave, you can't have, they shun you. Or if you do something, they shun you. I watch those documentaries too, by the way. It's kind of the same way. Like you can't have contact with your family once you leave the Amish. And that's kind of sad. It is. All right, guys, without further ado, I enjoyed our conversation tonight. Louis Locos Democrats do that too. Um I loved our conversation tonight. We had a great conversation. But guys, I'm going to end the stream here. Thank you for joining me on this edition of Grayson Report. I will see you on the next one. Thank you again, Emily Parkinson, for the support. You are awesome. I really appreciate it. Guys, I will see you on the next one. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you on the next one. Sweet dreams or sweet nightmares, and stay spooky, guys. Good night, guys, and thank you.